night, Kathy Sharp invited us to generously contribute to our campgrounds. Tomorrow, we have opportunity to contribute to Bridge of Hope. Such invitations are what we expect regarding disciples' generous response. Tonight, however, I want to talk about generosity of time, a tricky one, at least for this Christian steward. I used to watch Kenyan women bent forward and walking with quickened step along a well-trodden farm-to-market path with a child tied snugly to their hip with a cloth wrapper and a huge basket filled with vegetables on their back held in place by a woven belt across their forehead, all the while knitting or crocheting a cap or sweater as they walked. Talk about productive, efficient stewards of time. But I also have the clear image of Africans who, amidst all the work, would come and sit with you to talk or not talk as long as you wanted to be with them. When you chose to go, they would try to persuade you to stay longer, then accompany you up the road to the bus stop where you might wait a long time for transport to come. They would not return to their to-dos until they had said goodbye and waved you out of sight. Terribly inefficient in many ways, and yet a stewardship of another kind of time offered generously, freely. A sense of purpose and presence and welcome not often experienced in more time-conscious cultures and communities. In Tahiti, I was always struck by how members and leaders would gather at the airport to greet me with songs, shell or flower haze, words of welcome and prayers, and do the same all over again upon my departure. But the message in the waiting and the tending and the welcoming was the most unforgettable expression of hospitality. At the same time, my images of tropical island lifestyle as laid back and restful were quickly corrected with pre-dawn wake up, early morning worship, and work at the church office, meetings and classes day and night, a full schedule of activity. Mareva and Muna, who were responsible for a lot of that, could sure outwork me. Time is a tricky one for a Christian steward. Not long after Steve Veazey became prophet president of the church, one of our colleagues in the World Church Leadership Council was quite ill. Steve spent many hours just sitting with our brother as he lay in a hospital bed. Then, with almost no sleep, Steve was at the office the next morning tending to the time-bound issues pressing on the church. He couldn't fix the illness, couldn't perform the medical duties, but he was there, present, attending, listening, speaking occasionally, but mostly generously giving his time before tending to the daily running of our beloved community. I admire efficiency. Push 22 seconds on the microwave instead of 20, so you don't have to move your finger all the way from the 2 to the 0. And do another task or maybe 2 while those 22 seconds are reheating your coffee. I admire the amount of work a good attorney could do at $100 or $200 per 15-minute increments. Progress, productivity. How important a timely decision can be when it comes to financial and business matters. Yes, even in the church. Rapid response in a moment of personal, familial, or congregational crisis can save relationships, heal divisions, preserve life even. Preparation time ahead of a crisis matters. Time is often of the essence. But efficiency can have a hidden side. My impatience when Carolyn or another colleague doesn't get to the point is an example. I've got work to do. Save me the lead up and all the background. What's the essence of the issue here, please? But if there is not a place and a rhythm of practice where we waste time with God, where we examine our own life and our motives, we will not be prepared in a moment of crisis or life-changing decision to be a spiritual companion or presence. We need Christian stewards who regularly slow down to enter Kairos time, unhurried eternal time, when we discern deeper, wider realities, receive riches and insights that come when we stop to listen, to ask questions, to let other voices speak truths we did not know. Sometimes the trains must run on time, should run on time. At other times, we must stop the focus on efficiency in the present moment. Sometimes we must stop and find a different mode of transport, or stop and take the time to lay down tracks in a very different direction. Stop and ask, what time is it? Does anyone really know? Time is a tricky one for a Christian steward, but God is generous. God invites us into a deeper understanding of time. Amen.